Today, we are diving into a really powerful teaching from an ancient text that makes a pretty wild claim. It says that one single, very specific emotional reaction can throw up a million obstacles on your path of personal growth. We're going to find out why, and more importantly, what we can do about it. So let me just ask you this straight up. If you're someone who's committed to getting better, to becoming a wiser, more compassionate person, what do you think is the absolute worst mistake you could make? Is it some huge ethical blunder, lack of discipline? The answer is probably not what you think. According to this text, the single most destructive thing isn't some epic failure. It's something way more common. It's getting angry at someone else who is also on that same path of trying to grow. What's so amazing here is how specific it is. Not just anger in general, but this kind of anger. And the consequences? They are just staggering.
So you've got to be asking, why? Why is this the single greatest obstacle? To really get that, we need to be clear on who we're talking about when the text uses this word bodhisattva.
Now, this isn't some mystical title for a chosen few. For our purposes, a bodhisattva is just anyone who is genuinely trying, trying to be a better person, trying to learn, trying to help other people. That's it. So it's you, it's me, it's anyone on that journey. The text is basically saying the worst thing we can do is get angry at our fellow travelers on the path. So what actually happens when we do that? The text doesn't just say, oh, it's a bad idea. No, it gives a very, very specific and honestly kind of terrifying number for what happens next. It says, a single moment of this specific anger creates 1 million barriers.
1 million. Let that sink in for a second. That number is supposed to feel overwhelming. It's meant to show you the immense weight of this one emotional reaction. It's like kicking off a chain reaction of self-sabotage that ripples out into every single part of your life, inside and out. So, let's break down what these barriers actually look like.
Okay, so a lot of these barriers are internal. They're things that block our own perception. And it makes perfect sense, right? Think about it. When you get angry, your world just shrinks. That fight or flight instinct kicks in and you are not open to new ideas. That flash of anger literally makes you less aware, less wise in that moment. It dulls your senses and clouds the very tools you need to grow. And here's the kicker. That internal poison doesn't stay inside. It starts to manifest externally. These barriers aren't just in your head. The text directly connects this anger to attracting negative stuff into your life, more sickness, becoming a target for gossip, finding yourself in crappy situations with the wrong people. The point is, your inner state of anger literally starts building an outer world of obstacles around you.
All right, I know, that is a really heavy warning. But the text doesn't just leave us with the problem. It gives us a direct solution, an antidote. It lays out a set of 10 practices to tear down these barriers and build something new in their place.
These first 5 are all about a really profound shift in your perspective. It starts with this idea of universal compassion. But check out number 2. Actively see other people on the path as enlightened. That's not just some nice, fluffy thought. It's a total psychological hack. It short-circuits that impulse to judge and swaps it with respect and curiosity. It completely changes the game.
Then, the next 5 practices take that new attitude and put it into action. It's about cultivating a mind that's vast as space, totally open, not constricted. And look at number 10. Live in the world without attachment. That doesn't mean you don't care. It means you engage completely, you participate fully, but you're not desperately clinging to a certain result. It's a path of active, joyful freedom.
Now, here's where it gets really cool. Following this path doesn't just stop you from creating the million barriers. It actually starts this incredible positive chain reaction. It's this cascade of wisdom, where each step you take unlocks the next one, leading you to a seriously profound way of seeing reality. So, putting these 10 practices into motion does way more than just avoid the negative. It sets off this positive cascade, and it starts by basically cleaning the lens through which you see everything.
This cleaning process leads to what the text calls the 10 kinds of purity. We're talking about purity in why you do things, purity in your relationships, and eventually just a clear, unobstructed view of the world as it is.
And that new clarity? Well, it unlocks the next level, the 10 kinds of great wisdom. And this isn't about being book smart. This is deep, intuitive insight, the ability to just get how cause and effect work, to understand what's going on in other people's minds, to see the hidden machinery of reality itself.
And finally, all of that profound wisdom, It opens the door to the ultimate achievement in this section, the 10 kinds of universal entry. Now this is where things get truly mind-bending, and it will fundamentally change how you see, well, everything.
So what on earth is this universal entry? It's a complete shift from seeing the world as a bunch of separate solid objects to seeing it as a radically, seamlessly interconnected whole.
This is the big idea. Everything is woven into everything else. The huge is contained in the tiny, and the tiny is in the huge, and there are no real walls between them. You can think of it like a hologram, where every single little piece contains the entire picture. The text gives some really beautiful, mind-twisting examples of this.
I mean, just listen to how the text describes this. It says you can see all of space inside a single atom. You can experience all of time in a single fleeting moment. You can find every world in the universe inside a single pore of your skin. This isn't just pretty poetry, it's a description of a reality where all our normal rules and boundaries just melt away.
So here's the big punchline. This ultimate vision ties directly back to our own minds. The text says the world is like a dream, or like a reflection in a mirror. It seems real, it seems solid, but it's fundamentally being shaped by our perception. That barrier we feel between our inner world and the outer world, in the end, it's not actually there.
And that brings us to the final, really powerful question. If one moment of anger can build a prison with 1,000,000 walls, but one moment of compassion can reveal an entire universe in a grain of sand, well, then the power is entirely in our hands. So in this very moment, what world are you choosing to create?